This week on JTV, we're creating ribbon tubes out of gorgeous Reliant ribbon so that we can use them as a design element in a beautiful Christmas arrangement. So let's get started with today's project. This is a really cool concept, and I saw it at the Dallas Market Center. It's a fun way for you to use ribbon as a design element inside your arrangement. I've used wrapping paper tubes and covered them with the ribbon using my hot glue gun and these beautiful ribbons from Reliant. So suddenly I have a design element that's the same shape as this. I'll show you how easy it is, and at the same time I'm going to show you how you can make different sizes. These are wrapping paper rolls. Now, of course, you can use foil rolls. Any paper towel roll will actually work. So any size or shape is good. Imagine, you can use a paper towel or a toilet paper roll. All sorts of things will work. I'm going to cut this one so that I have different sizes and shapes to use in the arrangement itself. And you'll notice I'm going to cut one that's longer and one that's shorter on the other end. So we'll just take my nippers and cut through that. Many times cardboard rolls can be heavy or they can be light. These are pretty heavy duty, so that's why I use the nippers. Sometimes the scissors would work too. The next step is to cover this using the ribbon. We need our hot glue gun, and I've set my hot glue gun on low. On high, that's pretty hot, and sometimes if you have a polyester ribbon or a silk ribbon, it can melt it. The other thing is, you don't want to burn yourself either. So we'll apply glue on the inside of the tube. We're going all the way around. And then I'm going to put just a little bit on the outside. Stick my ribbon down inside the tube, and I'll work it around and drop it down on the side. Getting them started is the hardest part, and you want to make sure that you have everything covered. So just pulling that back up and turning it towards the inside gets us going. Then, after we've covered the entire edge, we'll attach it there and start to wrap. Wired edge ribbons work really well too, because you can use that wire to form fit it back on the inside. Then what I do is I just run a bead of glue down the outside of the roll, and I keep rolling. Keeping my ribbon taut, and I'm keeping my hand away from that bead of glue. The other part you'll want to watch is to try and make sure that you keep the segments even. Now you notice I'm not worried about having it under every single piece. But that one bead is just enough to keep it attached, as long as I keep my ribbon tight. I don't want my ribbon to be loose, because then it would sag. As you're working with it too, it's great to unwind the ribbon. If you have a place like that, you can go back while the glue is still warm and move that ribbon around. Cut a ribbon like that. Add some glue to the outside and bring that up Then our glue on the inside of the tube again, all the way around, and then fold in that ribbon to ensure that we have a nice finished piece. We'll do it one more time with the little short piece. If you roll off a good quantity of the ribbon too, that helps. So, glue on the inside. Making sure that we get it all the way around the outside and then push that interior in there. Want to make sure that we cover up this rough edge right here. So we can bring that around and still fasten that down inside. Making sure that you get that nice and pretty at the beginning is really important. Run the bead down the outside. The other thing you could do too is run a separate ribbon over the top of this that's skinnier and more narrow. Or maybe you want to use some decorative cording. That would be beautiful as well. You can do another version around the other direction. So these can get as creative or intricate as you like. Always make sure that you leave plenty of ribbon at the end. Don't cut it too short, because you can always stick that ribbon inside the tube. We'll add our glue around the inside, all the way around. And then stuff that in. Just one more dot of glue. To make sure that looks really pretty. There we go. So now I've got different sizes and shapes. So imagine you can do some really fun things using these. Today, we're going to make an arrangement and use those as design elements inside the arrangement itself. But also imagine that you could line 3 of these up and create an ornament or 2 sconces for either side of a door. Lots of different possibilities. So our arrangement today, we're going to make in this urn. And it was inspired by this great ribbon from Reliant. And I have a beautiful evergreen that matches that same color. So our base has already been prepared. We have a 3-inch cube of styrofoam from Floorcraft glued down inside. I'll shave off the edges. Now, I could cover this with moss, but because I want this coloration to all kind of stay the same and I don't want to add that extra texture to this, I'm simply going to use my old friend moss green spray paint. I'm, 'cause 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 That conceals the styrofoam and is just going to make it disappear. I chose a shade that was darker than the container itself so that in the shadows it will really disappear. First thing that we're going to do is add our tubes. Now I want to add one that's going to go this direction across. And to do that, I'll use a wood pick, and I'm going to take and cut a hole there and one there. I'm going to flip that over and do them in exactly the same spot on the back side. The reason I'm doing that is so I can stick a wood pick right through the tube. Now those are at opposing angles, and that's going to be great because when that goes down inside that foam, it's going to lock it into place. I'll pull them back. We'll apply hot glue to the ends. Put it into the foam and then push those picks down. The other thing I want to do is secure it up here. So I'm going to add the glue on the ends of the picks because I don't want this to pop off either. That gives me a great horizontal placement in the arrangement itself. We're going to use this one up here. And again, some wood picks. Now, I could put the wood picks up inside here, but then what's going to happen is that's going to be able to come off. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to push this down into the foam. So I've got it recessed. See it down inside the foam? And then I'm going to make a hole up here on one side and a hole up here on the other side. Add my glue and go right through that hole and into the foam itself, all the way down in. The glue on the end of the pick is key. Going in that hole and hitting that styrofoam and then pushing it all the way down inside. That glue around the outside is going to help keep that pick in place. We want to make sure that he's nice and straight too. I'm going to add a third one over here. And this one's going to go up front. So I'll add those the same way. Okay, we've got those all in place. Now, our next step is to add the greenery. There's so many great polyvinyl greeneries out there available right now. And these are even made with plastic. I love that because it makes them look so realistic. Many of the manufacturers now are starting to use recycled plastics in creating the permanent botanicals. I love that too, because it's a great way. This arrangement itself is a way for us to recycle these tubes, and adding something like that is wonderful as well. Add glue to the end of our greenery. And place that into the foam. We'll split this one up and use it in two separate pieces. Now our greenery is all in place, and we'll add ribbon to conceal some of our wood picks and also to add interest to the base itself. We'll do this the same way we always do with ribbon. We're going to insert it into the foam itself and create loops and basing using a stick. We've got our end. We just take that and push that down into the foam. Looping it back and adding it in another place. This way, not only is the ribbon in the tubes, it also becomes a design element down in the arrangement itself. Just weaving it throughout the entire arrangement. This one I want to add the end down inside there so those loops come together. Looks like I need a couple more pieces right there in the center. We'll let that tail hang down onto the table. Go in here to conceal those wood picks that are holding our tubes in place. Our final step is to add some Christmas ornaments. We have large-scale millimeter balls, and look at how that picks up that great coloration. The other thing is we can put these in the tops of our tubes. I think because these two are so close, I'm going to use one here and leave this one open. Add glue on the inside, on the very edge. Then with the millimeter balls, many times they come with a wire already included and this wonderful paper wrapping. I usually take that off so that I can get something that sticks into the foam more securely. We just take our wood pick and coat it with the hot glue. And then stick that right down inside and let it rest there for a few minutes. The glue, in a semi-liquid state, will attach to the back and the inside of the ornament itself. Do it one more time. You can just take that paper off. And that wire's been glued in there very securely. So we just trim it away. Coat the end of the wood pick with plenty of glue. And stick it down inside. Now we need to let those rest for just a few seconds so that glue hardens up. Now remember, when you're working with millimeter balls, they're glass, so they are very fragile. Another great solution for you, they make these in plastic. That's great, especially if you're doing it with kids. The other thing that you can do as well is to decide where you want these ornaments to go and place your pick into the arrangement itself. If we've got a secure area and we want that to be right there, then we can add our ornament on top of that. That works well too. So you've got several different options. Let me show you how that would work. We'll glue our pick and place it into the arrangement. Want to make sure that it's nice and secure. Now look at how much pressure I sometimes have to put on there. That's important. Then we can put glue on the inside of that stem and also here. And then place the ornament into place. In this case too, we can apply these and then gently tuck them into the design. There. We've finished our beautiful Christmas arrangement. Now imagine if you have this ribbon on some of your packages, or maybe this ribbon coordinates to a ribbon that's on your tree or on a garland on the mantle. Now you can use that ribbon as a design element inside an arrangement and create yet another decoration for your house. It's using ribbon in a fun, fantastic way. So until next week, keep having fun with flowers.